Stop saving those Primogems! The Nod Krai patch cycle is about to unleash a team composition so powerful, so broken, it has the entire community simultaneously screaming, coping, and melting down. We're talking about the ultimate lineup that will define the meta. Stick around because this is the wild one and you need to see this. So we are talking about Durin Columbina, the White Horse Adeptus, and the Grandmaster Varka. Yeah, 4 of the most hyped and lore-heavy characters Hoyoverse has ever lined up back-to-back. Whole community is calling this the Premium Team. Some others are calling it Primogem's Annihilation. But everyone agrees on one thing. The upcoming patch from 6.2 to 6.4 is shaping up to be an absolute monster composition if the current leaks hold true. Before we begin, quickly hit that subscribe button and like this video. Also, feel free to check out Loot Bar, link in the description. Now, keep in mind that everything here is still unconfirmed. These are based on data mines and early leak cycles from sources like Hakush and others. But things can always change before release. But since Durin's full kit is now circulating across multiple reputable channels, we finally have enough information to piece together how this dream team might actually work, and why some fans are already calling it the top Nod Krai patch comp, not just by strength, but by design. Let's start with the first one, Durin. You know, the baby dragon, now reborn in human form as a 5-star pyro sword user. According to the leaks, his kit revolves around this dual form mechanic called Affirmation of Whitening and Negation of Darkness. When you use his elemental skill, Binary Formula Fusion Refinement, he can choose between these two states, and each one changes his burst kit entirely. In his whitening state, Durin becomes this pyro-themed buffer, summoning a white flame dragon that hovers around, dealing residual pyro damage and granting the team bonuses like increased elemental damage and possibly even resistance penetration. In his darkness state, he goes full offense, def-ignoring hits, heavy single-target multipliers, and an AoE burst. So right away, you can tell that Durin isn't a simple on-field DPS like Deluck or Hu Tao. He's a hybrid, someone who can either lead the damage rotation himself or switch to a supportive stance and make everyone else stronger. It's almost like Hoyo wanted to create a Pyro Farina, but with a dragon aesthetic and more flexible playstyle. That duality alone already makes him the perfect anchor for a multi-element reaction team. Now, the most awaited as well hyped character, which is Columbina, the mysterious ex-Fatui Harbinger, whose leaks point toward her being a Hydro character, possibly a sword or catalyst user. Her entire concept seems to revolve around music and moonlight, things like Song of the Moon and lunar wheel mechanics. If those lunar clauses in her kit turn out to be real, she could amplify certain reactions depending on the team's element combinations. And that's where the synergy with Durin becomes really spicy. His off-field pyro application, plus her continuous hydro damage pulses, mean you get constant vaporize reactions. You can think of it as the Fontaine-era reaction meta, but pushed even further by Durin's buffing states. Together, they create what some players are already calling the Lunar Core, a pyro-hydro duo that dominates reaction uptime. Now, the third piece of this puzzle is the newly revealed White Horse Adeptus, planned for version 6.3. She's described in the leaks as an Anemo support, possibly tied to the moon and time, just like Istaroth. That alone already made lore fans lose their minds, but hey, she's not just another random Adeptus as some early Reddit comments complained. She's literally the Daughter of Time mentioned in multiple Liu books and even teased in Yanfei's latest anecdote. So in terms of kit, she seems to be a grouping and buffing support like Kazuha or Venti, but possibly with a twist. Community suspects she might introduce something called Lunar Swirl, extending reaction durations or enhancing elemental damage when multiple lunar-affiliated characters are present. And that would tie directly into Columbina's Moonlight theme and Durin's dual state system. Just imagine that rotation. First, you start by using the White Horse Adeptus to group enemies and apply her swirl, lowering enemy elemental resistance and setting up the field. Then you switch to Columbina, drop her off-field Hydro Song, and tag enemies with constant Hydro application. Next comes Durin. You pop his Affirmation of Whitening to enter his supportive state, trigger Vaporize reactions, and summon his White Flame Dragon. And finally, you bring in Varka, the long-awaited Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, who leaks now suggest will indeed be a Nemo as well. That's right, finally an Anemo powerhouse. But instead of a pure swirl DPS, he's expected to be a heavy Claymore user that mixes physical and Anemo damage, possibly even lunar swirl scaling if the data mines are correct. So, is it early to say that this will be the top team of the Nod Cry patch era? Honestly, yeah, but with a maybe. Not necessarily confirmed, but it's the most synergistic and forward design lineup we've seen. In my last video, I did cover it about Nicole and Alice synergy with Durin, but if we take White Horse into the picture, the whole format changes. Not only that, these characters are clearly built around the same reaction philosophy: heavy elemental damage multipliers, resistance penetration buffs, and overlapping lunar-style reaction systems. If their final numbers hold, this team could easily rival the best Fontaine and even Netland comps. But even with all that hype, I think it's important to keep some perspective. We've seen similar premium meta cycles before. Remember when Farina and Nouvelette were leaked and everyone thought they'd break the game? They did for a while, but power creep always catches up. So if you're F2P or a low spender, maybe pick your favorites and wait for reruns, because chasing every member of the squad will be hard. Still, I have to admit, from a concept point of view, this is just genius. Each unit represents a piece of a new elemental puzzle. Durin's Pyro reaction engine, Columbina's Hydro melodies, the Adeptus' Time Wind mechanics, and Varka's Anemo strength. If Hoyo really wanted to define the Nod Cry era with one ultimate team, this would be it. It's almost like they're doing another Archon-level synergy cycle, but this time it's all tied to Lunar and Adeptus themes instead of Divine ones. Anyway, that's my views on what might become the top team of the Nod Cry patch era. If not this, then Nicole and Alice will steal the limelight, just how Skirk did with the other Netland characters. That would be cruel, but insane in its own way. So what do you guys think? Are you saving for all four, or are you already crying in your Primogems? Let me know what you think in the comments, because this discussion is only going to heat up as we get closer to 6.3. And as always, if you enjoy breakdowns like this where we mix leaks, lore, and meta insight, don't forget to drop a like, hype, and subscribe for more updates as the Nod Cry story unfolds. That's all for this video. I'll see you soon in the next one. Till then, take care and enjoy. Bye!